we're not going to do this in any particular order because it doesn't really matter. So what I thought we'd do is we're going to start at the back and work our way forward. So we are going to start tonight at, oh, she says tangling everything up. We are going to start tonight with this page at the back here, okay? And we're going to work our way forward. Now, I don't know how far we're going to get. We'll just have to wait and see. Because I don't want to do too long, but we'll get up as fast as we can. So this is where we're going to start. So what I'm going to need you to do is I want you to find your bag of fussy cut bits, and you, well done, Celia. I'm impressed because I'm lost most of the time, so you've done remarkably well. So we're going to work our way forward. So I want you to get your bag of fussy cut bits, and I want you to get your chipboard pieces, okay? So what we're going to do really, from now on, it's more of a case of sticking things together and shaping things and putting them together. So there isn't going to be a lot of sort of like room for you to go off and do your own thing like there is in the other books. So I apologise profusely for that. But I'm going to make this book exactly the same way that I made the original. So we're going to start with these two back pages here, and I don't know if you can see, but these are actually the cards here. These are paper, some of the paper cards. They're not the chipboard ones, but they are shaped. And then we've got this bit over here, which is shaped as well. Okay, and there's a bit of chipboard here, and our rabbit is shaped. So shall we get going? Oh, great stuff, Elaine. Hold on. 2 screens, wow. I'm not sure I'd want 2 screens, but still. That sounds very complicated to me, way out of my comfort zone. All right, Mel, see you soon. Hi, Diana. Right, okay, so what I want you to do is get your bag of bits that you fussy cut. And as you notice, we've got some cards left over that we haven't cut. So I want you to get some cards. We're going to need 3. It doesn't matter which 3. I want you to get this piece that we cut. Do you remember? The bit about orange marmalade. And we need to find one of our fussy cut big flowers. So I cut that one out like that, and I'm just going to chop it across there, because one of the things that we're going to do with the flowers is we are going to kind of cut them down so that they go further. Okay, Mark does have 2 screens, Elaine. Me, I can't even manage with 1. Right, so here we go, and I've lost my scissors. First of all, I just want you to cut out 3 extra cards, and it doesn't matter which ones you use. Any is good. Exactly you what, sorry?
Unless you're doing it exactly the same as last time.
Well, not exactly. Okay, so there's one. I'm not cutting out very fast tonight. I haven't got my usual fussy cutting scissors. They're downstairs. I can't remember why I took them downstairs, but I did. There's 2. What would you do with 3 screens? Evening, Mary.
Can't have enough.
Ah. Okay. Right, so we've got 3 of our cards, and I'm going to open up my die cuts, and I am going to grab my white rabbit. Now we're not going to use all of the die cuts out of the pack, so there's going to be some left over for you to do your own thing with. There we go. So I've got my white rabbit here. So we're going to start with that. So I'm going to open up my book that I did last week. And I'm going to go right to the very back page which is this one here, like that. Okay, and what I'm going to do first of all is I am going to shape my cards. So I'm going to grab a pencil, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil to shape the card like that. I'm going to turn it round, and then I'm going to shape it back out like this, so we get a bit of a curl in it. Okay, now it will go down a bit when we come to glue it, but I have to say I do think this paper keeps its shape quite well. Oh, news, Stamperia Winter's Tale. Spoke to my lovely wholesaler tonight, and he tells me that it will be in my possession for a new class, first to second week in August. So I thought that's a bit of good news for us all, isn't it? Because I know that we're quite excited about that one. So the Winter's Tale will be with me, I guess, not that far away, is it? When's middle of August?
Well,
it's about a month, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Yeah, can't wait. Do you know what, I love paper. Obviously I love paper, I mean that goes without saying, but I can't remember the last time I was this excited about getting my hands on a pack of paper, and it's to the point where you know, I'd probably give up chocolate just to get it. Well, I don't know about that, but you know, I can't wait to get my hands on this paper. I'm so excited. Right, so there we go. I've shaped my 3 cards. Are we all right? It's easy to do. What are you talking about, Mark? A desk?
Nothing there. You carry on.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange these in a fan shape, and I'm going to stick those down onto the back of my book there. But because it's kind of shaped, I'm just going to stick it, a bit of glue. I knew this wasn't going to work. Let me prod it again. Just a little spot of glue just on where that rounded bit is there. Because that's where it's actually going to touch the paper. So I'm going to make my fan shape first, just to get it right. And the sort of shape that I want. And then I'm going to pop it down onto my book like that. I'm presuming that's right. I'm going to have a look. Yeah, that's not bad. Sorry, I can't see it that way around. So I'm just going to glue there. So those are like that. And then I have got my white rabbit. And I'm just going to pop. Don't give him ideas, Rizwana. He's telling everybody that at the moment. I think he's getting a bit fed up. Right, and then we're just going to pop our white rabbit on top like that and glue him down. We might have to hold him for a moment. Okay, and if you're feeling like you want to achieve a bit more, you can always look for the rabbit that goes here, the rabbit in the frame. He's one of your chipboard pieces as well. I've got to find him first. There he is. And you can always put some glue on him. And pop that down there. If you want to wait until the end to see what you've got left, feel free. But I'm just going to pop mine there while I'm waiting for that one to stick down. Okay. Right, so this page. We have got our little bit about orange marmalade. We have got a little chipboard piece here, which is one of the flowers. So I'm going to have to find that now. Oh, this is like doing a jigsaw puzzle. That one. That's one of the chipboard pieces. And I have got this particular flower that I cut, fussy cut, but I don't want to use it all. So I'm just going to chop it like that. So I've got this bit to use later on. Okay, so I'm going to distress the edges of my orange marmalade piece, and then I'm going to shape it. Now, if you've got one of those really wonderful Tim Holtz distress edgy things, then absolutely use that. Or I'm going to show you the cheats way, which is with scissors. Hi Sandra, we're going to make a book. I don't know yet exactly what the book's going to be like, because okay, I know this sounds a bit weird, but I have to look at the paper before I know what I'm doing with it, because the papers talk to me. Yeah, okay. Right, I know how weird that sounds, but it's actually true. Don't groan. It's true. So as soon as I get my hands on them, I'll be able to tell you what we're doing. But I need to wait a bit. So I'm going to just distress the edge of this. And if I haven't got my trusty little Tim Holtz tools, I just use the edge of my scissors. Don't cut yourself. And I just rub it across, create a little bit of paper dust, because why not? And then as you can see, it gives me a distressed edge. I don't know how well that's picking up, but you get the idea, don't you? Okay, so that's just kind of edged and distressed. So I'm going to take my pencil again, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing with it, but I'm going to do it at an angle. So I want this paper to be shaped up like that, with these two opposite side corners kind of perked up a bit, if that makes sense. Okay, so it's a little bit more distressed. So you don't think I'm like dead weird now, Wendy? Because I feel like I might just have given you too much information about the inner workings of my brain. Right, so this is going to go here, and we're going to stick that with both sides there. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that bit. A little bit of glue on that bit. And I'm going to stick that down onto my book like that, making sure that I've still got it, you know, kind of popped up a little bit. Okay, and I can always come back and distress the edges a bit more if I want to. This, a little bit of glue, and I'm going to pop that behind there like that. And then finally my chipboard piece, a bit of glue, and I'm going to pop that under there like that. Okay, this will squash down when we close the book, but that'll just give it a more interesting sort of distressed look. Okay, so that's our back 2 pages done. Right, okay, are we good? Brill. Right, okay, so our next page, we're going to turn. Now this one, it doesn't quite lie flat because this is one of our weird and wonderful ones on the other side, so I'll lay it out like that so you can see. Hold on, just let me move that. Okay, these aren't quite in shot, are they? I've just realised. Okay, so we're going to do this one next. So I'm going to just turn that over, just open it up a little bit, and we're going to work on this one. So what do I need? I need the Cheshire Cat that I cut out previously. I need my tail business, and I need the bit that goes across the top there. Where's my cat? There's my cat. There's a bit of writing down here, which, as I recall, we didn't finish cutting out deliberately. Let me see. Or is that one of the ones that I haven't cut out at all? No, I did start cutting it because it's down there. And we need that little Alice, one of our chipboard pieces, okay? And this time you're going to need that super thick chipboard that I put in your kit. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. So let me just find this bit that I've lost, which possibly could be anywhere. Here it is. We didn't actually cut it out any more than this. It's the bit that says, I'm mad, you're mad. How do you know I'm mad, said Alice. Okay, and the reason we didn't cut it out is because I thought we'd lose it, which is highly hilarious because I lost the whole piece. So, what are we going to do? How are we going to put this together? Okay, this, the long tail bit, I want you to fold it just where in between long and tail, okay? So I want you to fold it so that that's a mountain fold, okay? And that is going to go across there like that. So it sort of pops up, but not really, if you see what I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue that down first. So I'm going to only pop a little bit of glue on the ends. That's the only place where I want the glue. Not all the way across. And I'm going to line up this mountain fold with the fold here in my book. So I'm going to line that up, and I'm not going to squash it down so that it's totally flat with the page because I want it to come up a little bit. So it's going to sit just above the page like that. Can you see? Oh, probably should glue it a bit better before I start showing you stuff. Okay, just make sure that it will close as well. Okay, it should fold both ways. And now we're going to get this bit that we cut out, which is our long tail. And we can glue that in entirety all the way down. So mine kind of goes up to where it says morning, and then I've just popped it down directly onto the whole page like that. Okay, and on top of that goes our chipboard Alice. So a bit of glue on the back of the chipboard Alice, and that's going to sit like that there. Okay, right, the words, we're going to cut them out now. So I'm just going to use my scissors, obviously, because we're cutting out. And I'm just going to cut around the words. So we're going to cut the bit that says, I'm mad, you're mad. Ooh. Okay, just like that. How do you know I'm mad, said Alice, which is the next line.
Of course, you're talking to a cat.
I talk to the cats all the time.
Yes,
Ooh. Okay. How do you know I'm mad, said Alice. You must be, said the cat.
you're talking to me.
And I chopped off the here because I didn't think it was 100% necessary. If you want to add the here that's underneath that cat bit at the very end, feel free. I just didn't bother. Okay, you must be, said the cat, or you wouldn't have come. If you want to put come here, that's fine too. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so we're going to glue those on. And I'm going to start from the bottom up, just to make sure that I get things where I want them to be. So a little bit of glue on the back of each of the words, and offset them because it's a little bit more interesting than having them all lined up perfectly. Okay, now Cheshire Cat. I know, British short hair, I have told you this before. Right, I want you to get your super thick chipboard because we're going to put our cat onto some chipboard just to hire him up. If you prefer to use foam pads, absolutely use foam pads. For me, I just prefer to use the chipboard because number one, I get to use bits that I would otherwise not have a use for. Number two, I don't get sticky fingers, and if you've watched me before, you know I hate getting sticky fingers. And I just prefer to use a bit of chipboard, a bit of grey board, instead of foam pads, because they're just like my nemesis. So little bit of grey board, just chop that up. Stick some glue on the back of that. Add it to my Cheshire Cat. Some glue on the back of that chipboard. And now I'm going to stick my Cheshire Cat on top of that long tail bit there. Okay? There we go. So now Alice is looking and talking to the Cheshire Cat, which in theory should pop up either way. So it's going to be popped up when it's open, and then when we close it, it'll pop back down. Okay? Brilliant. Yeah, I'm off getting on with that really quick. I'm very impressed. Right, so we can close that page up now. And I want to look at these two pages. So the theory behind this was, you know, when the cards all shot up around her. And I know that lots of people have done the most amazing pop-up things with cards, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently, mainly because I couldn't figure out how to do that. So I've done it. So we've got dangly bits. Dangly bits are always a good thing. So let's get started. Let's have a look at Alice here. So what we want for this page is we want our cutout of Alice. This isn't a chipboard piece. This is one of the pieces that we've cut out of our paper. So we've got Alice. We want the little bit, the square bit, the rectangular bit that says, and what is the use of a book without pictures or conversations? So hold on while I find that, because it may take me some time. I'm actually quite impressed that I haven't actually managed to lose this whole bag yet. Because, oh, miracle, found that. And then these two pieces, I never know which is which, a spade and a club. They are actually out of the chipboard pieces. So I'll just have a look through those. And I've got that one as a chipboard. That's the spade, isn't it? Or is that the club? That's the spade, I think. And now I need to find my club.
What part of the long tail have you put on?
What part of the long tail? It's the very bottom bit. It's the bit that says from the morning right down to the bottom bit about condemning to death. So it is the very, very bottom bit. If you remember, Janet, we cut two pieces of the long tail out. We cut the very, very top. We left out a bit of the bottom, and then we had we left out a bit of the middle, and then we had the very bottom bit. And what I've used here is the very top bit and the bottom bit. Okay, so it's just what fits on your page basically, but that was the bottom of the long tail. All right, so this page, I've got my Alice that I cut out of my paper. I've got my little bit that says, and what is the use of a book without pictures or conversations? And I've got my two chipboard pieces, the club and the spade. So how are we going to start this off? Well, first of all, this Alice needs to pop out from the page a bit. And as I said, I tend to use grey board for this rather than the foam pads. So I'm going to cut out a little bit now of the super thick chipboard that I've put in your kits. Definitely concentrating here. Tongue's definitely come out. Let's just see, make sure that that fits. I might just chop a little bit off. I'm telling you all my trade secrets here. Now you know that my books underneath are never really that pretty. I know some people are very organised in the way that they do their books and everything looks beautiful whichever way you look at it. But I hide all my ugly bits away. Right. Okay, so some glue onto my chipboard. Pop that on the back of Alice, like that. And some more glue. And I'm going to pop her just slightly to the left of centre on that page there, like that. So now you can see that she's popped off the page a little bit, okay? I'm going to do exactly the same with my What is the Use of a Book Without Pictures or Conversations? But before I put that onto the grey board, I'm going to just distress the edges again. Just because this gives us a little bit more interest and texture of our paper. Now I'm going to get a little bit more of my grey board. I'm going to glue that. I really need to find a way to remember to... Every single class this happens. Every single time I paper craft. I always end up with stuck glue. Right, so I never put lids back on anything. And I'm just going to pop that on there, but as you might notice on mine, I've actually put that slightly over Alice so that it gives us kind of like a join. So that's going to sit just over the top of Alice's arm. But remember to keep it a distance away from your fold so that when that page folds down, it actually will fold. Okay? And then I've got my, whichever one this is, club, I don't know. Spot of glue, far too much glue there. Pop that on there. And then I'm going to do the same with the spade or club or whichever one this is. And just pop that up there. Okay, you all keeping up all right? It's all right, Karen, I'll let you off. Okay, are we all right so far? Okay, right, now what we're going to do is we're going to make our cards for the drop. So, I'm just going to try and put that one away for now. I'm going to move that to the back so that it can dry. And I'm going to get out the cards that I cut up singly before. And I'm going to get my embroidery thread that I had in my kit. So I want to get 8 of the cards that we've already cut up, and it doesn't matter which, so just pick 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now just to make sure that things kind of, it was heavy enough to keep lying, you know, to keep falling down. Ooh. What I did was I put these little chipboard card shapes at the end of each of these cards. So we need to find 8 of these little diamond shaped card symbols. Okay, so if you want to go back to your chipboard, because these are chipboard pieces, you need to find 8 of those. And you might find that they're different sizes, but that's okay because we can match them up. Okay, so there's 2, 4, 5, 6. This is like doing a jigsaw. There we go. 8. So I've got 4 smaller and 4 bigger shapes there. Okay, right. So what we need to do is measure how long we want our thread to be. Now we need to make a little bit of a loop at the top, okay? So I'm just going to measure that, and then we can cut 4 pieces of our thread at, say, 6.5 inches. So if you want to measure and cut 4 pieces of thread at approximately 6.5 inches, we should be there. We can always trim these down later, so don't worry if it's not perfect. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to start with our shaped little square chipboard pieces. So I want you to put some glue onto one of your chipboard pieces, and just bear in mind which way up it is. I mean, this is diamond, so it doesn't matter, but we're going to put that on top of there, with our thread there, right across the middle of it, with a little bit hanging down. Okay, and then we need to get one to go on the top, so I'm just going to put some glue on that, and I'm going to sandwich my thread between those 2 pieces of chipboard. Okay, like that. And I'm just going to press it down for a moment, because obviously our thread means that it's not quite flat. They are like blackberries, Janet, actually. I agree with you. Ah, okay, Wendy, I'll remember that. That's pretty good. Oh, that's funny. Hi, Glyn. Right, okay, so that one's glued down now. So as you can see, we've got it at a diamond shape. I've got my heart pointing the right way up because this is the very bottom, and I've got a little tail there. So now I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to do it with my cards. So you will find actually that some of the cards are different sizes, so it might be wise you just checking their sizes so you get 2 the same. So I'm just going to pop some glue onto the back of one of my cards, and I'm going to light my thread right down along the centre of it, and I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch at the bottom. Okay, just a little bit, not too much. And now I'm going to put some glue on the opposite card. And I'm going to sandwich that just like that. There. Okay, so my thread is sandwiched between 2 of the cards. Okay, so I've got a dangly card with the diamond shaped chipboards at the bottom. Right, now this top bit, we need to make a little bit of a loop in this one. Just a little loop. This is a bit short. So I'm going to pop some glue onto the back of my card. And I'm going to lay this down in the middle again, leaving a bit of space there. But I want this to loop around there. So I've got, oh, this is a bit short. So I've got a little bit of a loop. Okay, can you see that all right? Got a loop at the top there. Might just put a little bit more glue on that. Okay. Glue onto the back of my card. Far too much there. Just going to take it up to the top so that it catches my loop. Don't put this much glue on. That's far too much. And I'm going to attach that on top of that one, sandwiching the thread between, but I've got a little bit of a loop on the top there. Ugh, glue. Ugh. Okay, so you can see I've got my loop and then I've got my hanging cards like that. Okay, so just give that a squeeze, make sure that it's stuck really well. And we're going to repeat that for each of our 4 threads. So a little bit of glue, make sure it's the right way up, pop that on there like that. Oh, oh, I either get not enough glue or far too much. Ugh. And let's sandwich that together. Just hold it down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to pop my card in the middle of that. Lie that down. And sandwich those two together. How many cards did I tell you to find? 8. We need 16, don't we? No, yeah, 4 per drop. Okay, and then the same procedure with this one at the top. Don't forget your loop. So I'm going to pop my thread down the middle like that, and I'm going to loop that round a bit like that, and then add in my top card. Squeeze that down, make sure it's all enclosed. Oh. Okay, so that's 2 drops done. Now I need to find 8 more cards, because I can't count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Oh, I've got really sticky fingers. Oh, I hate this. I can't pick anything up. Right. Glue on the back of one of our chipboard pieces. Oh, stop sticking to me. Make sure it's the right way up. Pop that on there. I've got cat hair on mine, I don't care. glue. Oh, glue's everywhere. Oh, hate it. Oh, let's take off those little bits of extra glue. Oh. Okay. Got no cats tonight. They've all disappeared. Oh, everything's sticking to me. At least with the cars, it doesn't matter which way up they go because they're both ways. Right, let's pop that on there. Fold that round. Put my little loop. I always think these are different sizes, but I'm not convinced they are actually. Let's stick that down. Okay, that's number 3 done. Last one to go. Oh, glue's going everywhere. Ugh. Okay, last set. Pop that on there. That one on top. Last one. Don't forget your loop. And then last card. Now, before we actually attach these to the page, I'd kind of like them to dry a little bit. So we're going to put them to one side and we're going to do the other side of that accordion part of the book. Okay, so we've made our 4 dangly card things. I'm just going to put those safe to one side so that they can dry a little bit. And I'm going to go back now to my book and we're going to start on this opposite end. So we're going back to here. Okay, so let me grab the book that I'm working on. Fold that. Now just bear in mind that when you first start to fold this book, it's going to be quite stiff and it won't sit right, but it will sit right the more we go on, if that makes sense. So, right, very back of the book here. What I want you to do for this page here is I want you to grab one of your little Scrap Lab clocks and I want you to grab the little plaque that actually says the same as this. Would you like an adventure now, or shall we have our tea first? I don't know what I'd answer to that one, really. Although a cup of tea would be very welcome. So I think that's what we'll be doing next.
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea. It's always time for a cup of tea, isn't there?
Oh, well, cup of tea in a biggie.
Yeah, oh yeah. Chocolate hobnob.
Oh.
We haven't got any. I'm just saying that.
Oh. Oh.
Sorry. I don't think we've got any biscuits. Bit shocking, isn't it?
Not when you consider I ate them.
Not when you what?
Consider I ate them all.
Oh. Oh, I've lost mine. Where's it gone?
I ate it.
No, my bit of thingy. Would you like an adventure now?
It's gone on an adventure.
It has gone on an adventure. I'm going to have to tip these out, which was my biggest fear, because I just knew I'd lose loads. Oh, we need to put that on in a minute as well. Is anybody else having this problem? This is the point where I discover I never cut it out in the first place. Has everybody found theirs, or is it just me? I really have lost it. I wonder where that was. You can't find it either, Sue. I wonder if we didn't cut it out. Well, I did say to keep all the bits that we hadn't used. It's probably in there. Let's have a look. Oh, I found some bits I'd cut. Hello, Loki. Well, this is a bit weird. I don't even know where it is. I wonder which piece it was on originally. Oh, I found some more bits. Hang on, I've got bits everywhere. I think my bag must have fallen open. Let's have a look over here. I'm looking for the bit, this bit that says, would you like an adventure now, or shall we have a cup of tea? Which could basically be anywhere in this whole house. I don't even know where it is. I must have had it from somewhere. Has anybody else not found it? Front cover page. Aha! It might well be. Good thinking, Batman.
Kapow.
Yes, it is. Well done. Here it is. Look, I didn't cut it out. I'm glad somebody's on the ball. Yep, so front cover page. We cut that Alice out, but not that bit. Right. So, I'm just going to fussy cut that quickly. There we go. Now, this is too big to go on there, to go through there. So we're going to cheat. We're going to grab another, either a foam pad or a bit of your chipboard. And I'm going to pop that on the back of my piece, like that. But before I glue it down onto the page, I'm going to glue it through.
It's smaller than the one on the page.
It is smaller, yeah. But you won't see it, so it doesn't matter. And you're just going to glue that like that. Okay, you might have to hold it for a minute. But your clock needs to move around. Okay, let's just get those back into shot. All right, so there we go. You can't, it is smaller, but you can't see that, so that's fine. Right? Easy when you can find the right pieces. Right, this page, I have used 2 of the chipboard cups. So now I've got to find those. I've used that one. And I have used, not that it matters particularly. Nope, not that one. That one. Okay, so those 2 chipboard pieces. Okay. Right, and we're just going to glue them on down there. Sally, if you've used that bit for the bit inside of your book, you can use, let's see what else you can use. Which bits have we got left? What have we got? Hang on. Where are my leftover bits? What have I done with those now? Oh, here they are. What can you use? You could use, well, you could get away with using maybe one of the cups, or you could use one of these Eat Me signs, one of the chipboards, because you've got 2 of these in your chipboard thingy. You've got this one that says tea party. I don't think we're using that anywhere, but that should fit on, I would think. Right, okay. Right, now if we turn the page over here, what we've got is a little pocket there, and what I did was I just popped in 2 of the cutter parts, those 2 tags, out of our bits that we've chopped up, which I can't find either now. This is going to get easier the more bits we use. Right, so I've got my King and Queen of Hearts, and I've just slotted those in there like that. Okay. Now this, oh, I've just dropped them all. This bit I mentioned, this is where if you want to, you can put some photographs and such like. And then we're back on to this page here. Okay, so do you remember that piece of flower that we chopped up earlier, that we chopped the top off, which I've put somewhere safe and I'll probably never find again? You need that. This is an exercise in finding bits that you've lost. Here it is. There's that one that I cut out earlier. So if you remember, I chopped the top off and I put it there. And I need 3 of the chip board cards. So I have got that one, and these are the chipboard pieces again. I have got that one, and I'm looking for my ace, although there is a 2. You could always use the 2 if you wanted. There we go. I've got my ace. Okay, so all I'm going to do with these is I'm going to glue that flower across there, and I'm just going to slip these in behind. Just, it's ever so simple, just for a bit of interest. So pop some glue onto my flower. I'm going to just butt that up nearly to the crease, to the fold, but not quite. And I am going to add my chipboard cards underneath it like that. So one there, and then my 5. It's a bit of a jaunty angle, and then I'm going to add my ace on top of those 2 like that, and just slipping them just underneath that flower there. Okay, then in the pocket I've got my other little tag, and all I did with this was I just simply cut out 2 of the cards and I folded them in half, just for a little bit of, I don't know, interest, I suppose. So I've now lost all of my cutouts here. So there's my Alice, and she's just going to pop in there into that pocket, which is glued. Should check that first. And I'm just going to take a couple of these cards, just tidy up the cut around them, leave a little bit of the black edge because it looks pretty. And I'm going to fold that in half. What the heck is going on? Don't know if you can hear this cat. She's having a wash. Oh my goodness me. So noisy. All right, so I've got my little, and I'm just going to pop that in there as well. Okay. So we haven't got much more to go for this side. Now we're going to work on this page. Okay. So what I want, these 3 cups are cut out of the design paper, not the chipboard. And then I've got my It's Always Tea Time motif. So that bit, and then 3 of my cups. So I've got that one, that one. Not that it matters which cups you're using, to be honest. Cups are cups. I can't find that cup. They are all, yeah, they're all paper. There it is. Right, so I've got these 3 cups, and I've got It's Always Tea Time. Okay, this is the easiest pop-up thing you've ever made in your life. What I want you to do is, It's Always Tea Time, I want you to fold it in half. Okay, so you've got a mountain fold right in the middle of it. Okay, just like that. Then what we're going to do, because we need somewhere to glue it down, is we're just going to fold up those edges just there and there. So you can see that when we glue those 2 edges down, this is going to pop up. Okay? So we're going to glue it down so it's like that. So the glue is just going to go on these two folded edges here. This is going to be unglued and it's going to sit on our book like that, so that our fold lines up with the fold in our accordion book. Okay? So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue. Oh, I say a little bit. On those two outside pieces. And I'm going to attach that down to my book like that. And I'm just going to make sure that when I close it, it stays glued. Is that straight? No. So when I close it, this goes flat, if that makes sense. Does that, can you see that? That's going to go flat when I close it. Okay. Then we've got our 3 cups, which we're just going to dot around on this page. And I'm just going to attach a little bit of the grey board to the back of them just to higher them up. Try and put that on a bit straighter. Okay, and then I'm just going to glue them down to my page. So, how did I do it? Which way round was it? I've got that one over there at a little jaunty angle. I have got that one in the middle and down a bit. And then I've got that one just up here at a jaunty angle, but I had those two touching. Okay, so that's that page. So as you can see, when we fold it down, this folds so that when we open up the page, it pops up. Okay, are we doing all right? You've all gone terribly quiet. I presume that you're concentrating, gluing, and making sure this all works. Okay? Right, now, this front page. You want your Eat Me, if you've still got one. Well, you had 2, so if you've got one. And then these 2 pieces, the cup and saucer and the teapot, they are actually chipboard pieces. So let's see what we've got. Always the last bits you look at. Okay, so I've got my, and is that the same? No, it's not the same cup. Well, it must be here somewhere. There it is. That cup. Just take that bit off there. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue the Eat Me chipboard piece there. I am going to pop my teapot on at a jaunty angle. And I am going to pop my cup on at a jaunty angle over the other side. Okay, right. Okay, so that's this half of the book done, apart from the falling cards, which we'll do now, and then I think we're going to leave that there for this week, and then next week we'll do this side. Okay, so what we need to do now is we're going to attach our falling cards over this side. So I want you to grab some more of your embroidery thread, and I want you to cut, well, I don't know how big this is. We're going to cut it down in a bit. It's probably about 12 and a bit inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to thread each of these. Oh, mine's covered in cat hairs. How does this happen?
Cats.
I'm going to just thread that through, but to make sure that it doesn't keep running off and going in the wrong place, I'm going to just put a knot in the top there. Okay, so that when I come to attach this, it's not going to kind of slip and slide all over the place. And I'm going to do the same with each of these, but I need to make sure that when I'm tying it, I'm not tying it so wide that these won't all fit on the same page. So there is a bit of an overlap on my cards. I guess that space is going to be about an inch. So I'm just going to tie that so that they don't slip everywhere. Okay, and I'm going to continue to do that with each of them. Make sure that fits. Yep, and now I just want to do my last one. Before I tie that, I'm just going to make sure that they all fit across there, which they do miraculously. Right, so let's tie that. Oop, that's moved. Oh, I have to undo that one. Just tie that again. This bit's fiddly. Fiddly. You might like to enlist the aid of another person at this point, actually. Why? That's still too wide. How on earth have I managed to do that? Well, it's not too wide actually, but it's not quite equal. Okay.
Design feature.
This is, yeah, it's a design feature. So I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. Now, what we've got to do is attach that to both sides. So what I found was the easiest thing to do was to tie a couple of knots in the end, because this is what gives our glue something to attach to. I did start off by threading it through and sewing it, but it looked really messy, so I gave that idea up. Okay, I'm just going to tie a couple of knots in the end here. Okay, we'll just find the end, have a look at it for fit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a blob of glue where my knots are. And I'm going to sit my knots on it. It keeps getting tangled. Now, we're going to have to leave this to dry, and you're going to have to keep your fingers on it for a bit probably. So I would suggest that you just leave that to dry now. You don't fold up your book. You've got to leave it to dry totally and utterly before you close it up. So that's all I want to do tonight. So we've done one half of the book. Next week we'll do this half, and then I think the week after we'll probably, well, depending on how quickly we get on next week, we can either start on the cover or we can do that. We can do that the week after, and then I think I'm going to change the way round we're doing things, and we'll get on with the fairy book, the Fairy Wings book, when we have finished Alice, if that's all right with everybody. So there we go. I'm done for this evening. I hope that you enjoyed doing that. I just admit I quite enjoy this little book. And if you need me, give me a shout. And like I said, Mark and I won't be available this weekend really. Don't expect any quick replies to anything. But we'll be back fighting fit next week. So see some of you tomorrow, perhaps in the Crafting Together with All Brands group, where we'll be doing part 3 of our Office Hours book. And I'll see you guys next week. So thanks very much for joining me. We'll see you then. Bye.
Oh.